Today, I want to highlight the 4 mistakes that I see many people make when they choose to switch their choice of rice to Basmati rice for health reasons. If you have also switched to or are thinking of switching to Basmati rice, I hope this sharing will help you avoid making these mistakes. Basmati rice, a variety of long grain rice, very popular here in Asia and around the world, is not only winning fans over because of its taste and texture, but also because it is gaining reputation as a healthier choice when it comes to rice variety options for people who like rice or for whom rice is their staple food. I do a lot of work in the area of training and coaching people, including my patients, to change and improve their lifestyle eating habits to better control and combat their diabetes or other lifestyle-related chronic conditions. And from my work, I have come across many people who have made the conscious switch from other varieties of rice to Basmati rice because they have read somewhere or heard from friends that Basmati rice is a healthier choice for rice. Especially amongst my patients or workshop participants with diabetes, I've lost count of the number of times that I have heard, "Doctor, ever since I got diabetes, I have switched to Basmati rice because I heard it is good for people with diabetes, or it is lower in GI or glycemic index and good for my blood sugar control." And I found that many of these people, perhaps distracted by the healthy halo, the reputation of Basmati rice, had wrongly assumed that all Basmati rice are the same or have the wrong and unrealistic expectations of what a switch of choice of rice variety to the healthier Basmati rice can do for their blood sugar control or for their health. So I decided to make this the topic of this episode. That is to highlight the 4 mistakes that I see people make when they choose to switch their choice of rice to Basmati rice for health reasons, so that you may avoid making these same mistakes. Welcome to another episode of the Habits Doctor's Pharmacy Podcast, where habits become medicine. For those of you who are new to this podcast, I am Dr. Chan, your host. I am a medical doctor from Singapore. My work and passion is in activating and empowering people to modify their lifestyle and eating habits to combat diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and other chronic diseases modifiable by lifestyle changes. What common mistakes do you think people who switch to Basmati rice for health reasons usually make? What do you think? For me, from my experience working with people, including my patients who are consciously making changes to their diet for health reasons, these are the 4 mistakes I see these people make. Mistake number 1 is that many people somehow wrongly assume that all Basmati rice are the same, or that they are all whole grain, or that all Basmati rice are low GI, that their glycemic index is low, or when they see that there is a low GI label on the packaging of the Basmati rice that they bought, they wrongly assume that it would therefore definitely mean that taking this Basmati rice would lead to lower blood sugar spikes compared to eating other variety of rice. Lastly, the worst mistake of all, in my opinion, is that many people have the wrong and very unrealistic expectations of what switching to Basmati rice can do for their health. Of these 4 mistakes that I have highlighted here, for the first 3 of them, I have done detailed videos tackling each of these 4 mistakes specifically. They are on my other YouTube channel. This channel that you are on now is my second YouTube channel, specifically for my podcast, where I focus on tackling mistakes, misconceptions, and mindsets related to lifestyle, diets, and chronic diseases. When people ask me why I have 2 separate YouTube channels, I always explain that this channel is about giving people inspiration, whilst my other channel is about giving people information. And you need both in order to change and improve lifestyle and eating habits to combat diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and other lifestyle-related chronic diseases. And for those of you who are already subscribers on my main channel, you might want to subscribe to this channel as well. Now, let's tackle the first mistake that people make when switching their choice of rice to Basmati rice. Number 1, for reasons I still have yet to figure out, many people I know wrongly assume that all Basmati rice are the same. Many people have this wrong understanding that when they are at the supermarket choosing what choice of rice to buy, they might see the choices this way, as if these choices are mutually exclusive, when they are actually not. Many people wrongly think that the choice they have to make is to choose between buying brown rice or Basmati rice, when actually it should be what variety of rice that you want. So in this instance, you must decide whether to choose basmati rice, cow roast rice, jasmine rice for whatever reasons, whether it is for taste or whether it's for health reasons. Only after deciding on what variety, what cultivar of rice that you want. In this instance, for this example, you have decided to choose basmati rice for health reasons. Then you would have to make the choice, the decision to either choose to get the refined grain white basmati rice or the whole grain version of basmati rice, the brown basmati rice. And the reasons why one would choose to have whole grain over refined grain rice remains even when choosing basmati rice. So that is mistake number one. I have a detailed video on this, including what to look out for on the packaging of the rice that you buy if one wants to consciously choose whole grain brown basmati rice. It is actually a bit confusing sometimes when you go to the supermarkets with so many different variety of rice. And especially when choosing basmati rice, there are so many texts describing so many different aspects of the basmati rice, its goodness, where it is from. I have made this detailed video on what to look out for on the packaging of the rice in order to make the conscious choice to pick the type of basmati rice that you have decided on. So I shall not go into too much details here. You can go watch that video after this. The second common mistake I often see is that many people wrongly assumed that all basmati rice are low GI, when actually the GI of basmati rice can range from the low 50s to the low 60s. That is in the low to medium GI category. Depending on how the rice is processed, whether it is whole grain or not, or whether it has undergone some special processing to make it lower GI. So, not all basmati rice are low GI. The third mistake I see people make is with regards to this very common wrong understanding of what a low GI labeled food means. So, even if the basmati rice that you bought has a big certified low GI label on its packaging, it still would not necessarily mean that it would help you achieve lower blood sugar spikes eating that compared to eating other kinds of rice. Because a person's glycemic response to any food, that is their blood sugar spike after eating that food, is affected by many factors, not just the GI of one of the ingredients in a meal, in this instance, the basmati rice. It can also be affected by how that ingredient is combined with other ingredients or how the basmati rice is cooked, amongst many other factors. This is a very common misconception and also one that is very important to correct, and that is why I made a very detailed video to explain and teach why low GI labeled food may not necessarily mean lower blood sugar spike. So for these first three mistakes, these three wrong assumptions that people make about basmati rice, I have detailed videos tackling each of them specifically in my other YouTube channel. I shall leave the link to them in the show notes below if you want to go watch them after this. This last very common mistake that I see many people make is one that is very concerning and disturbs me a lot. I want to spend a bit more time on this. It is that many people have very unrealistic expectations on what switching to the supposedly healthier basmati rice can do for their health. For example, many of my patients seeing me at my clinic for lifestyle and eating habits modification coaching to improve their control of their diabetes or for weight loss or for management of other lifestyle related chronic conditions often tell me that on their own, they had already made the switch from other variety of rice to basmati rice because they have heard from friends or read somewhere that basmati rice is healthier. But yet, when I review their eating habits in detail, I will often find that other than making the switch to basmati rice, they have not done much else, nor intend to do much else to change or improve their diets. Even aspects of their diets which are obviously unhealthy and obviously affecting their medical conditions. It is as if they have this expectation, very unrealistic expectation, that switching their choice of rice intake to basmati rice is going to be enough to better control their blood sugar, to optimally combat their diabetes, or to lose weight, or to achieve whatever health goals, or control whatever other chronic conditions that they are battling with. I have seen so many people who put so much weight on switching to basmati rice that they would tell me confidently, Doctor, nowadays I am already eating quite healthy. My diet is so much healthier now as compared to before. I used to eat white rice, but now I'm already eating basmati rice. Even when it's obvious to themselves that there are still many significant areas of their diets that are unhealthy, whether it is the excessive intake of sugar or grossly inadequate intake of vegetables in their diet. Don't get me wrong. Please don't misunderstand what I'm trying to say. I am not belittling small steps of improvement at all. In fact, every baby step forward, however small a step forward that may be, is still a precious step in the right direction that should be celebrated and given encouragement. But what I am highlighting here is to guard against these very unrealistic expectations of what switching to a healthier rice variety like basmati rice can do to help improve blood sugar control for people with diabetes or for better health in general. Because the reality is that in order to adequately and optimally control and combat diabetes, we need to critically review all aspects of our diets, identify and prioritize areas of our diets that need to be changed or improved, and then step by step work on tackling them. Switching one's choice of rice to basmati rice should never be the only step that one takes, but should be the first baby step of many giant steps that we need to take to holistically and adequately change and improve all aspects of our eating habits in order to adequately prevent and combat diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and other lifestyle-related chronic conditions that will take away years from our lives and life from our years. Of course, it is not going to be easy, but it is absolutely possible. These are the 4 common mistakes that people make when they make the switch to basmati rice. I hope this video would help you avoid making them. I hope you have found this episode of the Habits Doctors Pharmacy podcast useful. There are also many contents related to how our lifestyle habits can be powerful medicine in combating chronic diseases on my blog and on my website. I shall leave the links to them in the show notes below. I'm Dr. Chan. Let habits be thy medicine. Take care.